Namibia Women in Finance and Insurance Summit is now in its fourth year. This is a landmark annual event that's committed to empowering women and promoting leadership across Namibia's finance and insurance industries. Launched in 2021 by the Namibia National Reinsurance Corporation, NamibRe, the summit has become a powerful platform for driving gender diversity, equity and inclusion in these critical sectors. Now, this year's edition is set for the 15th of May 2025, and today we are honored in studio to be joined by the Petty Karuaihe-Martin, who is the president of the organizing committee as well as the organization. So good morning, ma'am, and thank you so much for making time to speak to us this morning.
Thank you so much.
It is the fourth year. You are a leading voice in both the national and continental financial landscape, and your role at WIFI as well as AIO and NamibRe. Let's talk about what inspired the creation of this Namibian Women in Finance Insurance Summit and how it has evolved since 2021.
Thank you so much for that question. Yes, I can actually not believe it that we are already in our fourth year. That just shows you how time goes by. When we initially started, it was in the COVID year in 2021, where myself and a few women, we have identified that Namibia is, and obviously the rest of Africa as well, there's quite a need for platforms where you can specifically focus on women interventions, especially for women in the financial sector. And so we came up with this idea, and then we put it to the test. And we can proudly say that after 4 years, we have gotten the industry together, the financial sector, which is the banking, the insurance sector, the asset managers. Everybody in the ecosystem has come on board, and we meet annually where we discuss relevant issues of inclusion in the financial sector. There's financial entrepreneurs, there's the people who are working in the financial sector. We all come together to discuss relevant issues in the financial sector and making sure that women progress are being monitored, and we are working together. We have been looking at creating mentorship initiative, and we're actually very excited to be launching it this year. We have already, at the last event, we have gotten the names of the participants. So this year, we have gotten to the stage where we will be starting with the first mentorship initiative of this summit.
Let's talk about how this summit and its objectives align to your further role, especially seeing that you're the managing director of NamibRe. How does that align? Is it also about, does NamibRe centers also trying to ensure that women are included in the financial decision-making space?
Yes, and when I said myself, then obviously I'm the managing director of Namibia Reinsurance, and it also definitely comes from there. It is an initiative that we had in our corporate social responsibility, where we were looking at women in the financial sector, especially women in leadership position. We can say, yes, Namibia has women in the sector, but we were looking overall in the sector. And I think Namibia has done well. So it was not just to bring these women together to say we have a common purpose, and we want to make sure that the younger generations also get to learn from the leadership that is there, so that there's a continuity and that there's a filling up that gap of making sure that when we leave, that there's some other woman coming in and taking over this very important sector, and making sure that women leadership in terms of financial inclusion, in terms of, especially now we are moving towards the digital sector, so making sure that they are also progressing with the changes that are currently taking place in the sector.
Okay, talking about some of those changes, we're in this digital age space. What does true financial inclusion look for women, especially in this digital age? We're mindful of the fact that we've got a digital divide right here in Namibia, rural connectivity issues. What does that mean for women?
Yeah, I think financial inclusion means quite a wide spectrum of issues. And I think when we refer to women, and especially many women in the rural areas, are always having that connectivity issues. But now with the mobile connections that are, or the mobile interventions that are taking place, there's more accessibility towards the women in the rural areas to come on board and become more accessible and becoming included in the financial sector. Just for a woman to have a bank account, it has been in the past an issue, but I think that is changing towards within the Namibian context and as well also in the African context. So there's also, when we as women meet, we share the challenges that we are facing, because it has been a men's world. So I always say that, we also want to emphasize that we don't want to exclude the men, because they are the ones actually making it possible for us to have this conference. Because when I ask for sponsors, it comes, most of these institutions are led by men, and so we have a session where we also invite them, and it's actually fully packed. We will be having the MDs of the Sanlams, the MDs of the Old Mutuals, Hollard, all the CEOs of the banks, Standard Bank, they will be there and they are represented just to hear, because we see them also as our sponsors, our voices, so that whatever our needs are in the financial sector, that can be addressed. So we definitely, when coming back to financial inclusion, there is definitely still a lot that we need to do, but I think we have started the interventions, and we're moving closer towards making sure there's enough growth and sustainability, and especially making sure we bring more women on board.
Okay. Talking about some of those, what are the biggest barriers in 2024, maybe learning from last year's conference, and also what we are picking up right now in 2025 in anticipation for next week's conference? If you could maybe identify one or two biggest barriers that's making it quite difficult for women that still facing in this industry, and what would be the most effective ways of eliminating those barriers?
I think this year, we normally look at what is topical when we're deciding on the different topics for discussion. So this year we will be focusing on empowering women through financial inclusion in the digital area. So that's because when we look at the AI, that is so critical, and it's becoming part of us. Anything that we are doing, we almost do it on on our cell phones and on. So that is a new era that we are entering in, and it's important for us as women to sit around the table and to say, how are we adjusting ourselves, and how are we moving towards the changes that are coming. We will also be having topics such as overcoming challenges of women financial access. We will be having, I just also quickly we will be having topics of women and the boy child, and advancing financial inclusion for a more equitable future. And most importantly, I don't want to leave this one out, because that is actually what makes us, assist us to make these changes, is the role of policy and regulation in advancing women in the financial sector. And then another important topic that we'll have is also the business case for gender diversity in finance and insurance for women work, and the digital shift, navigating technology and thriving in the new world of work. So yeah, so we definitely having quite a wide range of very key areas that we will focus on. And the good thing is, like, we will have the regulators, women in leadership from the regulator side. We will have leadership, women in the leadership of all these financial sectors, very well represented. And then we will also have the women that are actually doing the work. And then I think that connection and that interactivity, that we create. There's a lot of learning take place and a lot of sharing and a lot of knowledge that goes around. And after that, I think we're also planning to have interventions throughout the year of meeting with each other and making sure that we continue sharing and making sure that the younger generation come on board and taking over.
Okay, now we're running out of time, unfortunately. Just but briefly, this is the 4th edition slated for the 15th of May. What can expertise attend in terms of themes, speakers, and key focus area? Briefly.
Yeah, I think I've mentioned many of the themes. We are also very fortunate to have 2 ministers in attendance. As you know, in Namibia, we're very fortunate to have leadership of women from the top. We will be having the Minister, Dr. Emma Katema, Minister of Gender, and also our Honorable Minister of Finance. She will also be in attendance. So we definitely looking out to an eventful day, and we will be having close to over 10 African countries represented, and also delegates coming from outside of Namibia and also presenters. So yes, we are indeed looking forward to an exciting event.
Well, Madam Petty Karuaihe-Martin, thank you so much for making time to speak to us this morning, and all the best for next week.
Thank you so much.
Okay. That was Madam Petty Karuaihe-Martin, who is NamibRe Council Director, as well as also the President of the African Insurance Organization, talking to us about the fact that Namibia will be hosting Namibia Women in Finance and Insurance Summit that will be taking place next week on the 15th of May 2025. She indicated that there will be a variety of speakers, which also includes the Minister of Gender Equality as well as the Minister of Finance. So all those women that are attending, please do make sure that you enjoy yourself and ensure that you also pass on this information to the next generation of female leaders.